Hi guys, welcome back. Please give a warm welcome to our new speaker, Bruce Yu. Thank you.
Hello guys, I'm really excited to be here to show some very personal tips and some of my design juice here. So my name is Bruce Yu, I'm a freelance concept artist living in London. This is a simple roadmap of the whole process I'm going. And first, since it's the first time for most of you here to know me, is a self-introduction, and then I will blend my art path and some very personal tips together. And then the most important part is my weapon design juice. Talk about the project I've been working on, some movie and TV series, including Star Trek TV series, the movie Electric State, and some hard surface design in Venom 3. And also, I do some product design for next generation robots and robodogs in Boston Dynamics. That's kind of like my career highlight. In the video game industry, I work mainly for weapon skins, some crazy weapon skins that on Call of Duty, on Shrapnel, and upcoming Project Quantum. And a lot of my work are still under NDA, so I can't really show that much. My personal works are mainly all about hard surface sci-fi stuff. I really love to exploring the technology side of thing. For example, some crazy weapon designs. I really love to generating crazy and unusual ideas and make them under control and use an organized visual language to make them actually functional and operational. And a rival that made of light bulbs, and some rival that combined with biological technology. It's pretty gross, right? And ancient bronze weapon, and a rival that generating hell energy. Also some more generic hard surface sci-fi design, but I like to play with shapes, very simple shape language, but with some strange angles and using very basic geometry, like cylinders, like cubes, and to combine those most basic shapes and geometry together and to achieve the readable and impressive effect. And also this rival, you can see a human spine structure on the top, and this one is a pretty beautiful Japanese style shotgun. And also some handgun design. This one is it generates like a gravity, kind of zero gravity energy, and this one is use the blue crystal and then turn the blue crystal into energy steam and then reconstruct into crystal again and launch it here like a little missile launcher. And also I do some character concept art, but it's also hard surface, like some combat droids. And this one is heavily inspired by video game Anthem and some insects. Also, I do some fan art. Is a Batman love to torture crime in his dungeon, a dungeon master Batman. Yeah. And also a Halo fan art that combined with the 80s vibe in the Aliens 2 movie, yeah? I love that. And also do some 3D concept using a program called 3D Code, I think, which is a perfect program especially for concept artists. It's really easy to use. Yeah, some character sculpting, and even though they look pretty detailed, but I work actually pretty fast. I use a natural brush flow to create these repetitive details, and also all these repetitive details, it looks complex, but it's pretty fast in 3D Code. And also, it's a sci-fi handgun concept. It's fully designed, modeled, and rendered in 3D Code. Also, a rival with exactly the same visual language here. And This one is actually inspired by the game called Atomic Heart. I want to achieve how I can achieve with a sphere and using, really symbol-shaped language. And this one is inspired by some kind of insects and creature like that. I don't know what it is, but it's just a simple hard surface practice. And the next part, I will introduce my art path from the very beginning and give some very personal tips. I think art path is pretty much like traveling through Middle-earth. At the very beginning, you're very excited, you're a Hobbiton, but in the middle, you can meet some good things like Rivendell or stuff like that, but suddenly you're stuck in Moria and it's all dark and hopeless, but finally everyone will get where you want to go. Tip one is to always stick to what you love. It's pretty obvious. This is the little cute me. I play violin for 10 years. Also, I love doing some Spider-Man shit. But at this point, I don't know where to go yet. But I know all the cute little boys on this planet love killing aliens. Yeah, he loved playing this game. This little boy. I was introduced by my dad to playing all these FPS, violent shooting game, especially Halo, Combat Evolved is my all-time favorite. Also introduced by my dad, I watch tons of Hollywood film because there's a VCD store nearby, so I can rent the cracked version black and white VCD to play on my big-ass old television. Also, it's a father and son stuff. When I was a child, I loved doing this kind of doodles, like an A4 paper with thousands of little men battle on it. And the black one is good people. The white one are bad people. So it's heavily inspired by the Lord of the Rings. I have literally hundreds of them, but most of them are missing. But even though I was a guy who liked to doodle a lot when I was a child, but I was born in an environment which doesn't encourage you to do stuff like this. And everybody is thinking like, oh, what the hell, you want to do art? No way. And you're only gonna learn math, gonna learn like English, science, kind of stuff like that. So yeah, so then I went to learn business and accounting for entirely 3 years in my college. Entirely 3 years. I was pretty good at it, but it's not something what I love. So, I feel like Bruce completely wasted time. It's not what I wanted. So, but back in the end of 2018, I found out that concept art exists. So I used the score I get from the business school and a very shitty portfolio to get into the concept art major. And right after getting the scholarship from the business school, I turned into concept art. It's like a betrayal. Yeah. And tip number 2 is be more specific. Guess more to get big. At the very beginning of my college years, I was asked to do basically everything. Some environment, some keyframes. It's back in 2019. And also a bit of everywhere. I was asked to do weapons, characters, and some 3D sculpting. So I was kind of not bad at everywhere. But when I post these works on the ArtStation, it's like 5 likes, 6 likes, 10 likes. It doesn't really get me anywhere. But the turning point is, also some characters. But it feels like stuck into a point that you don't know it's concept art or illustration, but it's not good at anyway. But the turning point is 2020. I started to challenge myself, draw 100 weapon sketch in 3 days. I don't know why I think like that, but it turns out to be pretty great. So I post this stuff on the social media, and the likes and follows are 10 times bigger. So I was like, oh, I love this stuff, and this stuff can provide me a lot of likes, follows, so why not? So maybe it's the path I want to pursue. So 100 weapon sketches, back in 2020 is pure line art. I was working day and night on that, I remember. So right now I have a very specific goal, is to do weapon design, which make me to skip all the classes from university, and they keep giving me warnings. So I lock myself up in a little apartment with my little desk. I work here for entirely 2 years to draw all the crazy weapon stuff. That's where I made them. So yeah. So I think at the very beginning you can see, oops. You can see I turned from there is doing a little bit of everything to getting very specific on weapon design, and then right now it's like a branch. I do hard surface characters and props and vehicles and all that stuff, because I do believe that by putting your effort, most of your effort in one certain area that you really like and love, that when you are getting good at this area, you can also be good at all other area too. For example, weapon design. Weapons are mostly hard surface design. So when I'm good at weapon design, that means part of hard surface design skills are also improved. When I'm back to hard surface design, it's also about some droid and robots. It's also character design. It's part of it. And some environment design, you have some, for example, some sci-fi environment like Halo, it's 90% hard surface. So it's like starting small. It's like in the university right now today, they're asking you to do everything, like environment, characters, props, everything, and a lot of people just don't know where to go. And I strongly encourage you to find that specific area you really love by starting by looking at what games and movies you like, and do research about the concept artists who made them, and find out about that very specific area and concentrate your effort on it. Because I think right now, to some extent, the entry level to the industry is getting lower and lower. You have a lot more people coming in. You have even AI shit going on. So we have to get way more specific and narrow down the competition to really stand out. Yeah. And tip 3 is to understand the market, look before you leap. Yeah, it's pretty like seldom people talk about. At the very beginning of my career, back in early 2021, I was doing these weapon design, but I deleted most of them on ArtStation because I think they're not good enough. But starting to get a lot of work invitation. The company started to invite me to work with them. But the tricky thing is, first, the quality of the company is pretty low, and the second thing is all they ask me to do is weapon skins and nothing more. At the very moment, I don't know about the industry stuff, and I still remember a guy come to me, and she's like, "Oh, we're developing a AAA video game. I can provide you the rate of $5 per hour." And I think about that, and I replied, "Can I do $8 per hour?" Yeah, and that guy never come back to me. And then I was confused. I asked a lot of industry guys, and then find out I get tricked, maybe. And then the second thing is the kind of work and jobs we get is extremely based on what we post. For example, if the work I post are only those weapon designs, I can only work on weapon skin market, which is a very specific market. When you look at all the FPS games right now, they have to sell skins. It's a big source of income. But when you work on other hard surface, more generic design, you can get more like more other hard surface object design work. For example, my work is like, I work on Call of Duty Mobile weapon skin design. I work a lot of that based on the weapon skin I design, but I can only get the Boston Dynamic jobs because I do all these hard surface design. So when you build your portfolio, you're gonna research on the companies and the market you wanna go, and then to put the effort to specifically match your work to the markets. Yeah. And another is pretty tricky. Don't get stuck in low-level market. I understand because I've been there before. You know, when I just start my art journey, a lot of companies ask me to work with them. Some of them are really small, are shitty, and at that stage I can't really say no. But when I actually working with them, I find out it's a completely waste of time because you have very low improvement in the unprofessional work they provide with you, and there's no there's no professional art direction there that causing you to improve very, very slow during your client work, which is a bad thing because imagine if you spend 8 hours a day doing client work and it's all under NDA, it means you can't post them to your profile to get you likes and follows, even in the future, because these are low-level artwork, so you can't even post in the future, so it's completely 8 hours waste of time. So, you know, I think we as concept artists should stand together to charge higher, also to improve our art skills. And I believe by charging higher, you can actually have a feeling of taking more responsibility and significantly improve your quality of work. Yeah. And tip number 4 is we don't need to be someone else to be successful. You're gonna resist the temptation, right? And when you open the ArtStation page, you can see all kind of amazing artwork. And at some certain stage, I was like, I can do this, I can do that. And I started to try do environment or maybe some 3D sculpting or maybe some coloring. But in the end, I found out I can never be as good as them. And all these things I was trying to imitating is not what I actually need. That's pretty tricky. For example, I love hard surface sculpting. Can I do as good as Mike Nash? Yes, but the chance are like 1%, 2%. Can I do like coloring and the painting as good as Craig Mullins? Yes, but the chances are like 0.1%. It's pretty low. And when I want to do some horror art, I compare myself with Oleg, you know, the creative God of Forest, which only hurt myself. I think sometimes we set the goal too high and always try to compare ourselves with other artists, which is a good thing to some extent, but I think what we should do is to take our work and look at their work and to find out which part we can improve and to become better ourselves. Because at the end of the day, people love our work because it's our work. We're not imitating anyone else. And tip number 5 is to expand your comfort zone. I was a 2D guy. I turned into 3D by using 3D code, but as many people out there, I have really hard trouble learning Blender. It's like my brain is resisting the polygon shit. That feels like, I don't want to mention that. But what I do love is play Halo. Such a Halo fan. I spent like 1,500 hours on it. I'm such a big fan, so why not doing some Halo fan art by using Blender? And by using Blender Smart, I don't want to model in Blender because my brain just rejects it. So what I do is to model in a more comfortable way in 3D code. I turn my 2D concept into 3D. It's pretty quick, only take 1 day. A Marine and a Spartan super soldier, and then I drag them directly into Blender and to make some keyframes. Zero model is done by Blender. I made all the assets in 3D code and only do the lighting and moving things around. I literally rigged my character in Blender so I can make way more stuff, you know, some ODST dropout combat scene in the Blender. It's really like expanding your comfort zone. Just find a point, find something you really love to make the switch much more smoother, you know. And the important part here comes. We have our weapon design juice. I still got 20 minutes. That's enough. You guys might want to take a picture of this so you can literally better call it back. And the first one is pretty important, say the worldview and storytelling, which is the funny part. All right, take a picture. 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's go. First one, set the worldview and storytelling. I think in this world, everything is shaped by people's will. So everything is made by human. This desk and this stage and the chairs and the light, everything are made by humans. So when we do a design an object, I really love to characterize it, to tell the audience who made it, who is using it, and what the user might look like. And to tell that very complex and mild emotional feelings through a simple object, I think, our art is emotional anyway. And first, just to build a simple story, my story is like, there's a crazy scientist, probably 50 to 60 years old. He's locking himself up in a wasteland workshop, a little room, and it's mess. It's a whole mess around, a lot of components and gadgets. And he made a crazy weapon with a light bulb. So right now we have the story done. So the next step is to searching for references. You have some stuff from Fallout 4, which is another my love, workshops and a little bit industrial stuff combined with Wastelander stuff and a scientist from Back to the Future, that kind of style, and the light old bulb and some very mechanical wires. And the next step I usually do is to extract the key visual elements. For example, when you when you're searching for references, you're not searching them because if they're looking good. You have to know which part you actually need. No matter for idea generation or photo bashing, you have to know the purpose of the references. First is handcraft, and second, I really want to use the bright warning color. And you can also see on the rack, there's yellow, very bright yellow warning color. Some key textures like rusty and wasteland style metal, old light bulb, and finally, we have to get back to the character. We have to make the weapon looks like an actual character that have characteristics, personalities, and stuff like that. So about this character, he is smart, crazy. He's an inventor. He do his own shit, and he has very high intelligence. That's the key. So there's a link between the light bulb and high intelligence, because we all know there's a propaganda image of Einstein with a light bulb on his head. So in the pop culture, old light bulb is a symbol of someone being smart, or you come up with the idea, or high intelligence, or stuff like that. So the next step, we have to enhance the key elements, which is he is a smart person. When he think stuff is like sparkles coming out from his head, so I add a lot of LED little light to make it even stronger and extreme. So finally, boom, we get this one. So you can see all the design languages perfectly applied here. We got some handcrafted stuff, the blue, my English is not good, the blue stuff here, and some handcraft, a lot of nails, and some part is connected in a very kind of uncomfortable and primitive way. And also we have bright warning color to give it a little bit of industrial feeling. Also, it's a balance of between yellow and blue to make the whole design more comfortable to looking at. And the key feature is the light bulb here. And also, you have 4 indicators pointing at them. So with the same visual language, you can expand your design a lot more. So it's another thing about getting small to get big. Usually, when I want to do a lot of design, I would always first to establish the whole visual style and and to make everything established and perfect, and then I can expand the gun family. And when something is already there, I only need to adapt them into the new design, which is a lot more easier. And the similar thing is, for example, you have some old Asian zombie kind of stuff, the ancient bronze stuff is very old Chinese mystery thing, and then you can get something like this. You can see all the coins is floating there, generating some unknown energy, and you can also see this one is apparently it's obviously stuff you can see in the documentary. It's like a gun that you hold like this. And I don't know how it works, but it's cool. It's sci-fi. Tip number 2 is to think out of the box. It's really important. Back in 2021, when I started to do weapon, I don't even know what is a weapon. I know there's this thing you can hold and you have a trigger and you can actually shoot, but I don't know how it works. And I don't play Call of Duty very often, so I don't know what it is. So that is both good and bad. The bad thing is, my design to some extent doesn't make sense, but the good thing is it directly allows me to develop my own thinking, to jump out of the box to think some stuff. First, when we do a design, we think what it is. Obviously, a weapon is, some mechanical structure that you can install attachment on it, like Call of Duty, Battlefield stuff. But in my mind, a weapon is only a device. It can be any shape that you can hold in hand, that which output various forms of energy and effects. It's like a device you can hold in hand, and it shoots something, but that thing can be anything. It can not only shoot things, it can absorb things, so it's open-minded thinking. For example, kinetic energy. You got bullets. You can also got rocks. You can also got metal shrapnels. That something you can throw at somebody. Electricity. For example, taser gun or Lord of Thunder kind of stuff. UV, which is perfectly against vampire, right? And plasma. Fire is the flamethrower. Fire is the most common form of plasma. You can also see a lot of plasma rifles and weapons in the sci-fi movie. Laser. Sound wave. I can speak really loud to make all of you here to lose your hearing, right? It's a sound wave weapon. Microwave, you can make your enemy explode to hit them inside. Chemical, virus, nuclear, radiation, basically everything in the world, you can take them here to apply them. But is it everything? No, apparently not. For example, space and dimension, in the game Portal, you can actually use a gun to bend the space and dimension to teleporting someone from here to another dimension. Genes, I can shoot at you and you get cancer right away. Curse, sorry about that. Curse is more about fantasy and horror movie stuff. And time, I can shoot at you and you get 10 years younger, which is a good thing. So you can get into the industry much earlier, right? Gravity gun. I don't want to talk about this. We have a lot. About this, mental shock. You can have a smartphone attached to your weapon, playing Michael Handman all the day, and use some secret technology to broadcast this mental shock to people all over the world, to make them stuck into the very weird mental situation. Data. Also, you can turn people into data and absorb them to store them in a USB, look like a Mac installed in your gun, which is crazy. You can take everything, basically. It's fun. And for example, this one, Yeah, it's a weapon of very strong 90s vibe, and you can see this guy is recycling, and this device actually created a magnetism field to concentrate the poop and to shoot outside. But it can also, this weapon can also be a lot more. It can extract gas from the poop to be a flamethrower or anything like that. It's just playing around, not art. This is not art. Tip 3 is functional logic. It's also important to build an operating system. Normally a weapon is like that. This is a basic battle rifle. And the basic function is bullet, and the red part is the key feature of this weapon. Bullets go up there, and it's shoot all the way from here, and then output. But the logic behind this weapon is bullets, which is kinetic energy, which is actually chemical energy because of the gunpowder. So bullet went up here, you turn the chemical energy into kinetic energy, and then transporting the energy all the way here, and then output. So this is my way of building an operating system. So by doing this, let's analyze this design. So we have chemical energy here, which is a battery, and then transporting the energy all the way here. Oh, my English is not good. I don't know. Transporting means moving A from this place to another place, and transforming means turning A into B. Also, you can see something is going on in the middle. It's like transforming the electricity to some kind of unknown energy, and this part can actually rotate. The reason why I'm doing this is I want to make my audience realize there's actually something going on in this weapon. It's not a simple device. It can actually move. There's a lot of things going on right in here. So in the first person view, you can look, everything has a functional meaning. Transforming, energy transforming all the way from here, and it's transforming right in the middle of the light bulb to some unknown, I don't know, it's light or UV or anything. And also we have a third-party energy trigger. So all thing happens here is a very strong transforming process. So you finally output all the energies, but also everything is functional. All these little light bulbs here, it's not just to make it look good. It's actually an indicator to indicate, oh, the process is going properly, or it's working right now. If one of them is off, it means something is going wrong. Actually, about this, a 3D artist actually made it into 3D. It finally turns out to be like this. So in the first person view, you can see it's really interesting. In the middle of the gun, you have this part you can rotate. I think I should give credit for him. It looks really nice. Slideshow from Karen. Okay. Also, this one, we got unknown energy here, which is probably nuclear energy, and you can see the yellow wires is like transporting the energy all the way from here to here, and also you can see wires here, so it's also transporting, but there's something complex and something going on in the middle, so I want to show there's something happening in the middle of the weapon to make the whole design looks operating system and interesting, so also transforming. And the output and transforming happened all together. So it's not a very dead rules. You can dynamically combine them together to achieve the very special effects. Cool. Tip number 3 is organizing visual elements. I think it's number 4, right? Yeah, my fault. A form. I really love to use very simple shapes and geometry to make the design very easy to read. You know, when you look at the design, the human eyes is gonna instantly catch the most common shapes in our life, like round, cylinder, like cube. That stuff is pretty easy to read, and when you apply them to design, usually it can be very impressive. It's like pretty simple. A sphere and some cylinders over here. It's extremely easy to read. Even in this design, I also have, a red one is a cylinder in the bottom and a green cube on the top. The handle is like a two-cylinder combined together. So the overall shapes are rounded, safe, and very easy to read. You feel very comfortable to holding on. It's believable. And next thing is flow. When you look at the design, your eyes are not gonna fly everywhere. It's kind of like from here to here, from here to here, in a very organized way that I want the way your eyes to move. Because I add the red line here is I created a flow to point at a similar direction. Even though you can see the little detail here, they're not just placed here casually. I place them in a certain angle to point them in a certain direction. Because of the round part of the trigger is one key feature of the weapon design. I want your eyes to move here, not to float everywhere else. So all the red lines are pointed toward the green round space. But I didn't set the line to point directly toward them because there's still something going on here. I want your eyes to move here, okay? Here, but not stay too much. Also forward here. So the flow can be a strong visual guide. Also, it can highlight key feature pretty much well. Take this, for example, it's way more extreme. All the little elements are point directly into the central sphere because this ball is the key feature I want to sell of the design. When you look at the design first, you're instantly going to realize, what the ball is because all the things are pointed at them. And another thing is connection. Connection work like when you design the stuff, you don't want them to look way too separated. You want them to hold together, to look like an actual whole design. So the way connection work is first. For example, you can see a lot of round elements in this gun. So you can see round nails everywhere. So when you look at the side view of the gun, it have a strong visual connection of the same visual language going on here. It's achieved by details. We also have texture connection. The red parts are all metal, the high reflective silver metal, while other part of the gun is like polymer or plastic or something. So front of the gun, butt and end of the gun, you have metal texture connection to make the gun look like a whole operating design. And also we have color connection. The white part. The white part takes that 70% of this space, but I don't want the white part and the black part to look way too separated. So what I do is to add a white nail, big white nail here and a small white nail here. So it actually vertically to make the color more balanced and as to have a more stronger color connection overall. And ratio is, I think a lot of people talking about it, but it's really hard to really apply to the design. It's like when you're doing a design, finally you don't think like that, but it's just looking good on 60-40 or 70-30 ratio. But sometimes I really do like 90-10 or 50-50 ratio to give a very specific ratio feeling. But in the most cases, I think like anywhere, like 70-30, like even though the parts which can be hardly noticed, it's looking good because it's 30-70, it's 40-60, 40-30, and it applies to all the details and all the larger forms. And the last thing is detail. The only thing I can give about detail is organizing detail means more than adding new detail. When I look at some artwork, it's like people want to add details anywhere and to make the design look complex and looking good. You know, human eye are easily attracted by complex detail and sharp places. But when you look at the design, adding detail blindly will lose focus and make your eye fly everywhere. So what I do is to make a dynamic density of details. For example, right here you can see the details are really concentrated, but in this part you get a clean surface, which almost have zero details, but I want them to have a smooth switch. So you can see this part here, we have detail but not too much. We have detail but not too much, so it's a very smooth transition. So when you look at the design, your eyes are gonna attract a certain place, but don't feel that place is way too separated from the whole clean surface. So yeah, that's detail. And it's not about weapon design. Actually, you can blend all of them together and apply to any other kind of design, actually. And be flexible. What I'm saying, I just want you to have fun, enjoy it, and maybe, you know, sometimes you can break the rule and really make your own approach to design stuff. It's a very flexible thing. So that's all. Thank you for watching. Question time.
Yeah, thank you, Bruce, for this roller coaster of a presentation. It was amazing. And before welcoming Ran, we have a few questions, so don't be shy and go ahead and raise your hand. Whoops. Yeah, raise your hands. Oh.
Hi.
Hi.
Nice talk. I find every tip really helpful. It's really
thank you.
great.
Thank you.
But I was wondering, how do you usually start designing a weapon? Because I find all the tips really great, but I usually struggle with starting the design. I usually start by doing interesting shapes, and then you start giving names to each shape, like deciding this part's gonna be this part's gonna be that, or you usually start drawing.
Oh yeah.
What do you usually do?
Yeah, I get what you mean. I usually start by looking for inspiration from movies, from games, and in real life, especially in real life, you can have ideas just looking at this room. Look at the light. Look at the racks out there. You can literally make a weapon by using a device like a light, and the gun body it's like the very industrial hollow structure of rack. It's kind of like looking for inspiration from real life. And then when I get to work, my workflow is kind of a mess. I combine line art, photo bashing, and coloring, and all that stuff together. And I think each part of it can be forced to push the design forward. But I would suggest to do a very loose line sketch firstly, and then you can start photo bashing, and then by photo bashing you can actually instantly activate new ideas and keep pushing the ideas, and finally to get it done. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, does anyone have another question? Otherwise, I would have something to ask. I really find interesting when you were talking about being specific, but finding areas where you can connect different stuff. And I was wondering, how much of that did you actually think, and how much of that you found yourself into after the fact? Like, oh damn, I can kind of do all this stuff because it's all in the same area.
Actually, I was interested in hard surface in general, but I was extremely into guns, so I did gun first. Because at the very beginning, when I started doing other stuff, hard surface stuff like robots, like hard surface characters, it's just not good. until I keep doing weapons for almost a year, and then I get back to them. I found out the knowledge that I improve, the design skills I improve at the hard surface area, that actually helped me on doing all other stuff. It's like a few months, 1 year, for me personally. Yeah.
Okay, it's almost like what's very different what Jens was talking about. Focusing on one thing in art will actually, like, when you go back and differentiate, you might have some like big improvements, even if you just did one thing.
I would say spend 80% or 90% of your effort on one certain thing. But before you start doing it, you have to know this thing actually have market on the game or film industry. So when you're doing this thing, when you post them, you can actually get jobs. That's a very important fact. Yeah.
Makes sense. Any other questions?
Hi, I would like to ask, like, when you got the like style for the guns, like, how would you like find out? Like, would you just look at stuff, or would you like just think of something, or like?
Do you mean how I establish the style of certain design by looking stuff or only thinking by my own?
You had some guns like that were made from light bulbs, some from other things. Would you like most of your ideas? Would they be from games or like?
Oh, I think 50-50. Yeah, sometimes I just walk in there and I come up with the idea, and I will come up with the story too, and to think how to use certain ways to achieve that kind of goal. Yeah, I would think, just like what I said before, pay attention to things in real life and play video games, but not just playing them, just play them with certain, how do I say that in English? Purpose, yeah, so with certain purpose. When you're holding a gun, you're actually gonna look at how the gun is made of, how it works. And even though you can look a lot of weapons on YouTube about the gun design or showcasing all the guns in one video game and stuff like that. That really helps, yeah.
Thanks.
Hello. So my question is, do you basically just like connect the reference and also some object you come up with? Like, for example, like a triangle, and this, you basically like, that's how you come up with an idea for like the gun. And then you add like your style in.
Oh yeah, sorry, my English. Do you mean where did I get inspiration from? Games and?
Yes.
Oh, I play mostly sci-fi stuff. I don't play Call of Duty or Battlefield actually, which is a shame. I play Halo, Doom, Fallout 4, and all the sci-fi gun stuff. So at the very beginning, my brain is like, oh, I gotta make something cool. I'm not gonna think it like proper way to how to make it work like a proper gun. Yeah, that's my approach. But also the different video game has very different visual language. For example, Fallout 4, you have very ritual like atomic punk based on the 1940s visual language version of Future. You have wasteland stuff, but in Halo, it's really clean, military, and clean hard surface stuff. But in the Gears, I think there's a video game called Gears. It's pretty complex hard surface stuff, so it's all different. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi. Let's say that you're like working on a sci-fi project, like a very sci-fi project. Like how much? Here.
Oh, okay.
How much would you like rely on actual weapons for your reference? Because like sometimes, like if I'm designing, like I don't know if I rely too much on these references, maybe I'm like restraining myself, to like think outside the box, as you said. So
I think it really depends, because for most of the cases, you have to make sure you can actually hold your weapon. So you can take a reference only for the structure. You can actually hold it, especially when I do weapon skin design. It's M4 or AK-47, so it's gonna match the gameplay. So I definitely have real weapon references, but if I go crazy, I don't look at them at all. I search for other references like machines, like some factory device, some other technical stuff in real life, or anything but not weapon. Yeah.
Thank you.
And that was our last question. So thank you again. Big round of applause.
Sorry,
Oh,
I didn't see that. Do you actually ratios and shapes? I actually don't think about that. It happens it's naturally and organically. But I think at the very beginning, if you don't know where to go, you should really to think about the ratio and shapes, because it just make your design looks good to the most extent. And second, while sketching, are you thinking actually in the function, or is something that comes in later steps? Yeah, sure. I will think about how the thing actually works and react to the surrounding world.
Bruce,
Better still.
we're running out of time, so
Oh.
I think I'm sorry, but thank you very much. Give
Thank
a
you.
big round of applause, please.